Rage is in a very weird spot in Tekken 8 right now. It's kind of been the core mechanic of Tekken since its introduction back in Tekken 6, but things have changed in Tekken 8 with the introduction of Heat. Heat has kind of taken over, with Rage taking a backseat in this game. So with that said, just what is the current status of Rage in Tekken 8? Does it need any improvements with Heat being so freaking strong? Or maybe it is strong, maybe it has to be nerfed just like Heat. Or maybe it's in a good spot and doesn't need to be touched at all. These are some of the topics of discussion we have today about Rage. Gang, we have to talk about Rage, what needs to be done, what is the current state of Rage in Tekken 8. So Rage was introduced back in Tekken 6. Oh my days, my greatest Tekken game of all time, by the way. Oh, I miss this game. Bro, I legit wanna get a PS3 just to cover this game. Like T6 throwback videos all day. T6 gets a lot of shit, so I would love to like show you guys the light on how awesome this game was, man. I miss T6. But anyway, I digress. So Rage was introduced back in Tekken 6. It was a very easy to understand comeback mechanic. Basically, you go below 30% health, you get a damage boost. You didn't have to do anything, you just got the damage boost. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, most people did not like the introduction of Rage. Of course, people will always complain about new mechanics added to, the new Tekken game. It's always been the case. Rage was not a mechanic that a lot of people loved, especially like the OG Tekken legacy players, right? But it is what it is. Personally, I do love having a comeback mechanic in fighting games. So for me, I had no issues with Rage. So this mechanic carried on into Tekken Tag 2, worked basically the same. It then made it to Tekken 7 as well. However, it evolved massively since its introduction back in T6. But before we talk about this, gang, I would love to take this opportunity to tell you about an awesome resource I've been using to get games and keys at discounted prices. Kinguin. Kinguin is a legit platform that offers a wide range of game keys for PC, codes for Xbox, and PSN cards for PlayStation and more, often at discounted prices. They've got a huge selection of games from new releases to classic titles, and their prices are usually lower than what you'd find in stores. As of right now, Kinguin has an ongoing summer sale up until the 7th of July. They are offering some amazing deals and discounts on popular games such as Hogwarts Legacy and Tekken 7, which you can get for about $7. Guys, this is a steal. You do not wanna miss this sale. You can find great bargains on so many titles you're interested in, and their customer support is amazing as well. So if you are interested in checking out Kinguin, I've got a special affiliate link in the description below. Not only will you be getting access to their awesome deals, but you'll also be supporting my channel, guys. Make sure to use code SUMMER12 for an additional 12% discount only for products being sold on the summer sale landing page. Remember guys, only 4 days until the summer sale ends, and trust me, there's some really good games you don't wanna miss on this site. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get back in the video. So Rage in Tekken 7 went under some massive changes. We saw the introduction of the Rage Art and the Rage Drive. So the Rage Art is basically just like a super. This is the first time we saw Tekken supers in the game, or like Tekken, or like cinematics basically for supers in the game. You only have access to them when you go into Rage. So these do like massive amounts of damage depending on how much health you have. However, they came at a huge risk because they were unsafe on block, basically launch punishable. If you landed a Rage Art on block, you were dead. It was death. We also saw the introduction of the Rage Drive. This was kind of the opposite of the Rage Art. It gave you access to very powerful moves, gave you plus frames, huge combos, but did not hit as hard as a Rage Art, or at least for most characters. So it gave Rage a bit more depth. You had the option to choose between the Rage Art or the Rage Drive depending on the situation, with the added benefit of having a good damage buff when you went below 30% health. So enter the King of Iron Fist Tournament 8, and Rage has undergone a few changes as well, mostly to adapt to the new mechanics introduced by the hit system in this game. So for starters, the Rage Drive was removed in Tekken 8. We do no longer have Rage Drives. Like, dude, imagine if we had Rage Drives as well. Rage Drives, Rage Art, and Hit Smash, like Oh my days, that shit could have been hella toxic, bro. So rage drives were removed. Rage drives were basically replaced by the hit smash. I made a video on this, please make sure you check it out. I broke down the differences in what makes a hit smash an evolved version of the rage drive. So that means rage is only left with rage art as of right now as the only mechanic that comes with rage, other than still being a damage buff, which still remains the same in this game. You get a damage buff when you are in rage. Having rage also negates the amount of chip damage you take. Now this is a good mechanic. I love this mechanic. It acts as a defensive layer that's kind of missing in Tekken 8 in regards to how strong hit is in terms of offense. Like the damage, the chip difference of when you don't have rage and when you have rage is just out of this world, bro. Like honestly, the chip damage we take when we have rage is what the chip damage is supposed to be at base, bro. I think it's still too much and this would make a good change. So rage is good for that fact alone. It just sucks that we get this at 30% health because it still takes a while, right? It still takes a while, so we still have to deal with chip damage even before we go into rage. Rage arts also take gray health in Tekken 8. This one is I do not like this system, bro. Like rage needs to have its strength, I do agree and I do understand, but like deleting gray health is like I would be okay with this if it was generic for everyone. Now what I mean by this is there are some characters that have moves that can just delete gray health, right? Like Kuma's grab from his bear stance, Nina's throws, her down forward 1+3, and I think down forward 2+4 can take away gray health. Dragonov's counter hit back 3 can take away gray health. Even one of his grabs from his tackle can take away gray health. So there are some characters that can just straight up delete gray health, and they also have the added benefit of taking away your gray health from a rage art as well. So like, where are the rules, Namco? Like why do characters get the privilege of deleting gray health while others have to rely on rage art, you know? So I just don't like the overall system on this, honestly. Even if it was base standard for everyone to lose grey health with the rage art, I still would not have had this in the game, in my opinion. So that's basically what has changed in terms of rage in Tekken 8. Nothing else. It's just basically, it still has a damage buff and it still has the rage art. Rage drive is gone, you take less chip and you delete grey health when you do land that rage art. The rage art also still does a lot of damage depending on how much health you had when you did that rage art. So the lower health you have, the more damage you do, and it's actually out of this world. So now let's talk rage. What are the things we do not like about rage in Tekken 8, or at least things I've seen people complain about the most about rage in Tekken 8? So number one is the risk on block. Rage arts are -15. I do not know why, guys, and these things actually were like -13, -14 in the beta, bro. Like what the hell is Namco smoking? Rage art should be like -20, bro, -25. They're supposed to be like super punishable. I'm talking delayed hop kick punishable is how bad these should be on block. So I don't know why this is -15. I think Namco mentioned it to add more risk to rage art, so I'm sure they'll increase the negative frames on block, so that has to go. I touched on rage art deleting grey health as well, which can be a good thing in some instances. Let's say you've been getting run through, getting hit by random bullshit, right? You get hit by a hit smash, then you pop your rage art as a YOLO, just a YOLO rage art, you delete grey health. It builds that comeback mechanic, so it gives you that defensive layer. So in some situations, taking away grey health is good, but as an overall mechanic, I just don't like it. I think grey health is very valuable in this game, considering how much offense oriented it is. Depending on the circumstance, it's either good or bad. The rage art is also good, like I said, as a defensive mechanic. We know we are lacking defensive mechanics in Tekken 8 right now. So although the rage art isn't really the best defensive mechanic, it's something we have to deal with the offense in this game. That YOLO rage art, that hard read rage art is good, right? Defense stops your opponent from just rushing in against you randomly. They're scared they might lose their grey health. If you have very low health, you can do massive damage. Like if you still have hit when you land that rage art, you have a lot of comeback potential, bro. So it's good in that sense, right? The defensive mechanics that are lacking in the game, rage art does cover that to some degree. The other thing I love as well, I touched upon, we take less chip damage when we are in rage, which is another awesome defensive layer in terms of what rage offers. So I think these are like the positives and negatives about rage. Maybe there are some more. You guys can give me some suggestions. Have I missed anything huge in terms of what y'all don't like about rage or what's good about rage? So now, with that said, is rage in a good state? Does it need changes? Should it be buffed or should it be nerfed? There are some aspects that need buffing and there are some aspects that need nerfing. There's no one right answer, at least in my opinion. So for example, rage art being -15, that needs to be nerfed. It needs to be more punishable. I think the damage on rage art is still too much, bro. You can get 80 damage from a rage art if you're left with a pixel of health. That is a shitload amount of damage, bro. That's too much. So I think the damage of the rage art should be nerfed as well. The gray health, honestly, this one I'm not sure of. How do you guys feel about the rage art deleting gray health in this game? Should it be nerfed or should it stay the same? So again, it depends, because it's good defensively, but like offensively, it sucks, right? So having a bunch of grey health, you get launched when your opponent is in rage, huge ass combo burns hit and then goes into rage. It sucks losing that grey health. So this one, it depends overall, but I would love to hear your thoughts because I'm pretty unsure on this. But other than that, I don't really think rage needs any more changes. I think it's good outside of those two major issues I've touched on. Honestly, I think it's okay, guys. It's a defensive mechanic we have. It's the only thing we have out of like power crush and movement. Like rage art and rage in general is that particular layer. But rage can also be toxic if combined with heat. Like having heat and rage at the same time is just obnoxious, bro. Like there's no way you have to deal with a hit smash that deals 50 damage, can break wall hazards and ground hazards, and then after this, if your opponent has rage, you still have to deal with the fear of the rage art. Like, what in the actual fuck, bro? Like, it's too much. It's too much. So this one, I don't know what they can do about this, because like these are two very powerful resources. Somehow there has to be a risk on having these resources, bro. Like, it's just too easy. It's just too much. So this is where the huge imbalance comes when you combine heat and rage. Having those hit dash combos into rage art, yeah, I think it's a bit overtuned. I think it's a bit too much. So this would require some kind of overhaul, which we discussed. I don't think Namco have the balls to overhaul the overall system mechanics of Tekken 8. So what I would do is I would take away hit smash completely and I would bring back the rage drive. Honestly, that's what I would do, because I think rage drive was good. It also gives us the option to choose between rage art and rage drive, so you know your opponent won't just spam rage art every single time they have rage. There's that unpredictability of having that rage drive, and rage drive gave us some really hype moments back in Tekken 7 as well. So I would completely take out the hit smash and I would bring in the rage drive. But again, that's just my suggestion. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. So that's my take on the current system on rage. Not many people are complaining about it, but it does have its issues, but it does have its benefits as well. If Namco don't make any changes to rage, honestly, I wouldn't mind. I think it's still okay for what it offers right now, outside of the rage art damage and the minus frames on block, right? It needs to be more punishable. But outside of that, I think it's in a good state, right? The major issue right now is heat. That's what needs to be fixed. So anyway, boys, that's my take on the state of rage in the game currently. How do you feel about my take? What would you change about rage in Tekken 8? Does it need nerfs? Does it need buffs? Or is it okay in y'all's opinion? Talk to ya boy. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video, Nami gang. I appreciate the love. The engagement has been amazing in the comment section. It's so fun hearing you guys talk about everything going on with the game. So again, I wanna hear those opinions, boys. Let's talk about rage right now. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new. We're going crazy with some Tekken content, a video every day until the end of the month. Let's get it. And remember, guys, summer sale on Kinguin. Do not miss this chance. Games are going super cheap. Cards and codes are going super cheap as well. Check out Kinguin. So anyway, guys, GG, and as usual, may the Predator be ever in your favor. Take care, Nemi gang.